that piece connects to that piece? What? No. This is... What Umi wrote these instructions? We're just gonna put them all together. Yeah. Like a proper mech.
I wonder what Big Mac would do. Right proper cunning mech.
So, one of the big things about the Ork Stompa is that these instructions are actually fairly horrible. And so, I put all of the bits out, and I'm going to actually go through and subassemble some of these things so that they're actually usable. Because when you kit bash, you have to have an idea of what you're going to do. Like, I know that I'm going to use the Baneblade turret as the shoot-up arm. So this is going to be placed on the left arm, and I'm going to convert it up from there. So a lot of these sub-assemblies I can do. I have an idea for a chainsword already. Well, it's not a chainsword, it's a big, a mega choppa or whatever. But, you know, when you design things like this, you need to know what you're going to do for a mega choppa and the feet and just building the whole thing. So it's a matter of going through and cleaning up bits and getting the bits that you know you want to use into one pile, getting them to a point where you can start working with them, because when they're all random bits, it's really hard to work with, because, you know, these bombs, they need to be connected before they can be used. So trying to work with them while they're still on the sprue, that's a weak, you know, it weakens the potential on how you're going to use them. Then I also have this platform, and I'm going to want to put that where the walkway was on the other one. And I want to introduce that in a portion so I can put some grots up there. So I know I want to use that. And several parts of these other kits, like, you know, you need to know, okay, where am I going to put these barrels? Well, you know, I have that option. Another thing is, since I have this flyer, I have the little turret that I didn't use for the flyer, and I have a bunch of tubing and everything. So I'm going to use this for a lot of gubbins and gribbling. And it's just a matter of going through and figuring out what you want your models to look like. Like, I know I want to use the bottom half of this wave serpent as part of a foot. And the other foot is going to be part of an old chimera. And it's just a matter of going through and figuring out what bits you want and working from a basic structure. So one of the things that I want to do is I also want to build the torso so that it's actually a structure, so I know what size it needs to be. Because you know, I have some of these panels, but not all of them, so I need to work on that. Another step is to get some sprue glue and make some panels. Some of these are less usable than others, like this, but just having a few random bits like this gives you a nice framework so that you can add other bits to it. I would use this as framework, not as actual outside coverage, the way I have it. But like this one, I made to take this piece. So this is all about just making an interior panel that I can then cut down as an interior piece. It doesn't have to be exact because it's an internal framework, not an actual exposed thing. This is just to show that this is the piece that I'm trying to cover. There we go. Oh, here's an extra little bit. And now we have the back panel. And we can use it to place it where it needs to be. This is the back panel. And then something like this is great if you then come through and go, I'm going to put part of a chimera on that. And then that covers up most of the pieces that we need to do. And then we can have little firing ports or whatever, or put it this way, or anything. Have it coming down. But it's just a matter of having more options and a framework.
So at this point, I think maybe it's better if I just build a regular Stompa and a Kit Bash Stompa instead of trying to get both of them together. Yeah, I think I might be deciding to just go with a pure Kit Bash and a full kit. We'll see. I might change my mind again, but at this point, I'm feeling it a little bit. Well, it's September. It's time to go back to the worst instructions I've ever seen. Hundreds of parts, huge breakdowns for numbers. Like that's step that is step 11. And again, none of these parts are numbered. I have to go onto Reddit to get instructions. But if I'm going to paint this up for Orktober, I've got to build it. So, working on it. Well, it's Orktober, and I managed to build up my Stompa. Other than connecting the arms for easier painting, keeping them separate, I've finally built it. So, that feels great. It took way too long to build, and now I just have to finish building Rolla. Yeah, so let's get that done. It's about time, since, it is Orktober. So, one of the things that I want to do with this Rolla, I need to make it the proper height overall. So, I have the width pretty much matched right now. The weapons can go a little bit further out on either side if necessary, because, for instance, when I put this arm on here, it does stick out a good deal bit more. It's why it's not actually attached at the moment. So it does give a good, 2 or 3 inches further out. But first I need to do the height. Now, this is Rolla, so I took the Gatling parts that I had and I glued them together. I think that's a really cool look. And I have 2 Chimera parts, and I plan on mounting them together and making one of the legs be tank treads with big weapons facing forward and backward. So that will give Rolla almost the height it needs to the head. It doesn't get the pipes up here yet, but I want to take the knight head and mount it a bit higher, so I'll need to fill in the back a little bit. And of course, I need to glue that so it doesn't actually fall down. So I think I'm going to start with that, and it's going to be really hard to work on it while filming, so I'll be back after I do that. Okay, I made the base, the roll apart, and I glued these 2 pieces on there just slightly with some plastic glue. We'll fill that in later. Right now I'm trying to get the most basic of structures done so that I have something to work off of. So I think the next thing, I did not actually glue this on yet, it's still separate. I think the next part is figuring out how I'm going to make the second leg. Also, I need to, I know I'm going to put this part on the front to take up a little bit of the space, so that'll be nice. And
I think it might be time to make the overall design a little bit more cleaned up. I have the basic size in place. Don't know what I'm going to do for the hoses yet. Um, but beyond that, I think it's just ready to be a little bit more detailed. I need to bulk out the not just melted sprue sheets. I mean, they're nice and usable, but I think it's time to go a little bit more detailed and start using some of the extra armor panels and stuff that I have. So I might actually start on that next. Okay, I filled in the holes in the back of these with some spare little melted sprue. And then I tacked it in place with some plastic glue right here, and down here. Once that's fully set, I'm going to start working on getting the fill out in here. My goal is to not have very much of this at all showing on any part of this. It should just be all of these pieces, and even if I have to go down to the really, really small panels that come on models, even if I'm filling in a lot of the spaces with things like this, there's so many of these available. So even if I'm just layering those by the end, it's a matter of getting the basic shape and then filling in. So hopefully this doesn't take that long. Yeah, there's a lot of work still to be done. This project has many, many parts. It actually just took me over 2 hours to clean all of these up for the eventual use. So I'll get back to that tomorrow. But at least I'm ready to start gluing all of this stuff down. Well, I've spent about 2 hours gluing on pieces. I have one part of the underside glued on, and the little brush fell into my glue. So I'll have to fish that out, but I think it's also been enough time today, and maybe I can finish building this thing tomorrow. I got a couple of plates on where I want them. I was going to mount that underneath next, but I think I'm going to have to wait. Well, that was at least 2 hours, maybe 3, of gluing parts down on Rolla. And there's still some spots that need some more details, but it's getting there. I'm hoping I will be able to finish building it tomorrow. Before the stream. So it is a big pile of bits. There's still a few things that I'd like to attach, like the large harpoon. Still need to figure out where I want to put that. There's a couple of bombs and everything that I'd love to put on here, but I still have quite a number of bits. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to finish this. but it's coming. It's coming along. It's Orktober 8th, and honestly, I've put so much time into this Rolla. I haven't been putting enough time into painting. And I have one or two other items that I would like to do with it, but it's taking up the majority of my time. And if I want to get the rest of this stuff built and painted before the end of the month, I don't think I'm actually going to have enough time. I may just need to put this on the back burner and work on the rest of the objects that I want to do, unless I am willing to give up some of those ideas instead. Time management on the 8th still gives me some time to work on everything else. I wanted to finish Rolla, but if I've been waiting to build this before I prime either of them, that's cutting it kind of close, because Stompa over there is going to take a while to paint. Yeah, I'm going to leave it here for now. I'm going to upload this video because it's been a year and a half since I started building Stompa. It's about time for this to actually get out in the world. Maybe I'll get the rest of this built before the end of the month, but I can't be holding Stompa back from Rolla. So I'm gonna leave it here. This is the progress so far. Subscribe if you haven't, so that you don't miss any future videos. I also want to thank my patrons and supporters for making these videos possible. And until next time, I hope you find your bit of bliss.